Lucky Boys Podcast.
When I immigrated to the U.S. and moved to New York City, I was sleeping on the floor of my aunt's small apartment.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
It was my mom and my sister. We were sleeping on the floors. Oh, my mom and my sister got the couch.
Yeah.
So this became like an everyday. This is like my everyday circumstances. And when we moved, it was to a small basement apartment in Queens, if you can call it that. But in the winters, in that basement apartment, the cellar door, which is essentially our front door, would freeze over. So we couldn't get out. We'd have to go out the other way towards the main part of the house that the landlords had. And I grew up like that till I was a teenager. And then when I was a teenager, it didn't change a whole lot. We essentially ended up moving into an attic and cramped space, no privacy, like the idea of like your own room, no AC. And
that was just normal part of life.
Yeah,
at that time.
that was life. Like it wasn't like I didn't go to too many friends' like houses. So I didn't have this sort of like, well, it doesn't have to be this way. And then, I sort of took a lot of pride in doing well in school. That was always stressed by my parents to do well in school. I thought that would take care of things. So when I was 17, I saw my way out. I was accepted to NYU, dual degree program, chemical engineering, materials science. I still have that acceptance letter. And I thought I was out. I can finally live in a dorm, a decent place. And I think the package was like, $80K. And when they found out,
wait, $80K a year?
Well, definitely for the first year. So I was good. I was good for that first year. Whatever that would come up like in following years, my dad said, we'll find a way. And when they found out I didn't have a green card, they took it away.
Wow.
So I left high school with like a 93 GPA. And
I just want to like back up a little bit, because having almost like NYU, top of the top school, university, college, that might propel you to unimaginable, opportunities, and just having that yanked away, I can't imagine that. That must have.
There's a mini documentary on me, where I kind of express that. And like when I look at that and how I speak about it, I'm almost nonchalant about it now, because that wasn't the first time that happened.
Whoa.
Right? It happened again 4 years later. I got into a PhD program, criminal justice. They gave me the biggest fellowship. It was $80K. At 21, I was going to be hired as an adjunct professor. And when they found out I didn't have a green card, they took away the fellowship.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, this happened again. What now? And I spent, several years in PhD study. I left with my master's, but then my mom became very ill. So I just couldn't focus on school. It felt like, what is this all for? I'm going to school. Like I was on track to be Dr. Cris Mercado by age 25. On track. I literally only had my dissertation and one exam left. And
at this time, you were actually going to school.
I was going to school, but I was still living at home, that cramped attic. Right? It's something that still fills me with shame.
No, man, I don't think it's shameful at all, dude. You came from a cramped attic to going to university, and you said you were about to become a doctor, PhD. That's high aspirations. I don't know anybody. But
I didn't make it out of that attic until, a few years later. So that always stuck with me. And again, for reference, think back to that 17-year-old. I thought I was supposed to get out then, right? And so that really developed a sense of like frustration and anger within me. But I would always find ways to do it to release it in a constructive way, whether it's exercising, or like writing, right? But in doing work, and I found ways to slip through the cracks, right? And I did work for this after school program that I mentioned, and I saw my value, but I wasn't getting paid a lot. In fact, there were times where I didn't get paid, and partly because the person in charge knew of my status,
and they were taking advantage of it,
essentially.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and this happens a lot with undocumented immigrants. Like, who do we go to, right? Because then if we try to raise the red flag, we're the ones that are going to get in trouble. So you're reinforced to keep quiet. And growing up in an Asian household, typical Asian household, you're already quiet, and then you multiply that with undocumented status for years, for decades, then you've been trained to be quiet. And I just got sick of it in like 2012, 2013. I was like, I have nothing left to lose. So that is there was no one particular moment, except that in my head, it became, what else do I have left to lose? And I think that is the moment of truth that people should look out for. When you feel like you have nothing left to lose, you are sometimes the most dangerous, but also that might be the most powerful part. When I speak to other immigrants and you sense the despair, they go to these moments, but they'll perceive it as, what can I do?
Right.
And for me, I'm like, there's got to be something within you. Like, don't look outside, look within, right? Be introspective about what you can try to leverage, what resources you might have. Because when you think about it, if you're going through the same path that got you to a place and it's not bringing you security, forget happiness, security.
Right. Being stable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's not bringing you that,
Stability.
then essentially you have nothing left to lose. So go ahead and try that venture. Go ahead and make that outreach. Try to make that connection.